mean, look at the panic in Trump's eyes. I've seen more relaxed people on the exit row of a Boeing flight. And why, though? Like, why are you so weird with the Epstein stuff? It's not like Donald Trump has any particular reason to not want the Epstein files opened up.
Just when the Epstein scandal seemed buried, it's back. And this time, the Trump administration is digging through 2016. Is this justice or a calculated political distraction? In the echo chamber of American politics, some stories refuse to die. And one name, Jeffrey Epstein, still sends a shiver through the highest corridors of power. Years after his controversial death behind bars, the Epstein scandal continues to haunt politicians, billionaires, and even presidents. But now, under renewed public scrutiny and a tidal wave of conspiracy theories, the Trump camp is doing something unexpected, reopening the book on the 2016 Clinton investigation. Why? Trump's allies claim it's about justice, unfinished business from an election marred by cover-ups and media bias. Critics say it's a desperate move, a tactic to change the headlines as Epstein's name threatens to rise again, alongside Trump's own old photographs, party guest lists, and deposition mentions. This isn't just about Trump or Clinton. It's about power, secrets, and how far those in charge will go to control the story. So buckle up, because what you're about to hear may not only shift the 2024 narrative, it may force us to rethink everything we thought we knew about 2016, Epstein, and how truth is packaged for public consumption. Stay with us as we dive into the dark entanglements of politics, scandal, and strategy in one of the most disturbing chapters in modern American history. Jeffrey Epstein's story didn't end with his death. It just became harder to explain. A wealthy financier with mysterious sources of income, elite connections, and a private island no one dared talk about, Epstein's life was a web of secrets wrapped in luxury. But it was his death in a federal jail cell in 2019, ruled a suicide, that truly lit the match. Since then, the public hasn't let it go. Not because of tabloid curiosity, but because the system keeps protecting the wrong people. Key documents remain sealed. High-profile names mentioned in flight logs and deposition transcripts have escaped scrutiny. And while Epstein's partner, Ghislaine Maxwell, was tried and convicted, no one else from a client list has ever faced justice. That fact alone tells you something. For years, politicians and celebrities associated with Epstein have downplayed or denied any wrongdoing. Yet photographs, calendar entries, and archived emails keep resurfacing, dragging old names back into the spotlight, including Donald Trump. And that's the problem. The Epstein case isn't just a scandal. It's a symbol, a litmus test for the public's faith in accountability. Every time a court delays the release of documents, every time a known associate evades questioning, and every time someone like Trump or Clinton dismisses it all as political noise, the public trust crumbles a little more. And now, with that pressure boiling again, the Trump camp is trying to shift the focus by rehashing the Clinton probe from 2016. But is it about the truth or getting ahead of the next headline? In politics, timing is never accidental. And the Trump camp's decision to revive the 2016 Clinton investigation, nearly a decade later, raises a critical question. Why now? Officially, the explanation is justice. Trump's allies argue that the Clinton private email server scandal was never fully resolved, that the FBI, under James Comey, mishandled the case, that no reasonable prosecutor wasn't a legal conclusion, it was a political shield. But behind the curtain, there's another reality. Right now, Trump is facing renewed public scrutiny over his past association with Epstein. Old footage of the two laughing at a Mar-a-Lago party. Guest logs. A 2002 quote where Trump calls Epstein a terrific guy. None of this proves wrongdoing, but the optics are toxic, especially with new civil cases against Epstein's estate slowly revealing more. So what's the counterpunch? For Trump and his inner circle, it's simple. Go back to the Clinton story. Make her the symbol of elite corruption again. Stir the base. Remind the public of the missing 30,000 emails, Benghazi, Uranium One, and the endless questions that remain unanswered. It's a calculated move, and one that's already paying off. Right-wing media outlets are amplifying the message. Hashtags like #LockHerUp are trending again. Congressional Republicans are teasing new hearings. And just like that, the narrative shifts. Suddenly, it's not about Epstein anymore. It's about Hillary, emails, FBI bias, and the idea that the system is rigged, but not against victims, against Trump. Whether or not you buy it, one thing's clear. This strategy is working. And once again, the truth is taking a back seat to political survival. To understand the urgency behind Trump's political counteroffensive, we need to revisit a truth that's inconvenient for his camp, his long, tangled history with Jeffrey Epstein. The two men weren't just casual acquaintances. In the 1990s and early 2000s, Trump and Epstein ran in the same elite circles: Palm Beach, Manhattan, private jets, lavish parties. Multiple photos place them at events together. Trump once famously said, "I've known Jeff for 15 years. Terrific guy. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side." That quote aged poorly. As allegations against Epstein grew darker, ranging from child trafficking to organized abuse, Trump began to distance himself. He later claimed he wasn't a fan and banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. But critics argue that distancing himself wasn't enough. Why were they close to begin with? Why was Trump named in lawsuits, even if he was later dropped? Why are his name and calendar entries still popping up in unsealed documents? To be clear, Trump has never been charged in connection to Epstein. But public suspicion doesn't rely on indictments. It thrives on connections, optics, and what's hidden behind redactions. And with the Maxwell trial exposing more elite ties, including anonymous, John Doe's protected by the courts, the fear within Trump's orbit is clear. The next unsealed document might include a name they can't spin. So what do you do when the heat gets too high? You flip the board. And that's exactly what this rehash of 2016 looks like: a distraction, a smokescreen, maybe even a warning shot to other power players. If I go down, I'm not going alone. For Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton is more than a political rival. She's a strategic tool. A name that ignites his base, dominates headlines, and provides the perfect counterbalance anytime his own scandals resurface. That's why, in the face of renewed Epstein scrutiny, Clinton's 2016 email scandal has returned with fresh political oxygen. Trump's team argues this isn't a diversion, it's unfinished business. They claim Clinton's use of a private server as Secretary of State violated federal law, that the FBI's decision not to prosecute, despite evidence of negligence, was part of a larger institutional bias designed to protect Democrats while targeting Trump. But here's what makes this strategy so effective. Clinton, too, had connections to Epstein. Bill Clinton's name appeared on multiple Lolita Express flight logs, visiting Epstein's private island numerous times. Photographic evidence, travel documents, and pilot testimony all confirm the association. And although Hillary herself wasn't tied directly to Epstein's crimes, guilt by association sticks, especially in the court of public opinion. For Trump's defenders, this is the ultimate whataboutism. They ask, if Trump's photos with Epstein are suspicious, why not Clinton's flight logs? And just like that, the conversation shifts. Suddenly, we're no longer talking about accountability. We're talking about hypocrisy. It's a strategy built on the belief that in today's political landscape, nobody wants justice. They just want their side to win. But here's the real cost. Instead of a bipartisan effort to expose everyone tied to Epstein, we now have a battle of distractions where victims are forgotten and predators remain hidden. And the only people who benefit are the ones hoping we never find out the full truth. Donald Trump has always understood one thing better than most politicians. In politics, perception is reality. So when the narrative turns hostile, when Epstein's name starts trending again and media outlets resurface old footage, Trump doesn't retreat. He reframes, redirects, rewrites, and that's exactly what this rehashing of the 2016 Clinton probe is all about. Instead of answering questions about his past with Epstein, Trump is asking different questions. Questions like, why hasn't Hillary ever been held accountable? Why were my campaign and presidency investigated but her server erased? Why does the FBI always seem to go after me but not them? These aren't just rhetorical. They're strategic, because they shift the lens of scrutiny. Instead of playing defense, Trump puts his critics on trial. He isn't just defending himself, he's turning himself into a victim of a corrupt system. This tactic has worked before. During the Mueller probe, Trump's approval ratings among Republicans surged. Each indictment, leak, or accusation didn't weaken him. It hardened his support. The perception wasn't that he was corrupt, it was that he was being targeted. And now, with Epstein's shadow growing again, Trump is pulling from the same playbook. He knows that if the conversation stays focused on Clinton, the FBI, and political bias, the public is less likely to ask, why was he so close to Epstein? What does he know that he isn't saying? And what would he do to make us forget? The answer? Flip the script before it flips on him. Truth used to be the goal. Now, it feels like it's just another weapon in a political war, wielded, reshaped, and buried depending on who holds the power. The Epstein case should have united Americans in outrage. It should have led to sweeping investigations, exposed elites across both parties, and brought justice to survivors who waited decades to be heard. Instead, it became a political mirror. And what we see in that mirror is ugly. Trump isn't the only one who danced close to Epstein's world. So did Clinton. So did princes, professors, and primetime journalists. That's why no one wants to fully open the files. That's why victims still wait for names that remain sealed. That's why we're rehashing 2016 instead of reckoning with Epstein. Because if the truth is inconvenient for everyone, then no one wants to find it. So what do we, the public, do with that? We stay alert. We question everyone. We recognize the game being played, and we refuse to be distracted by the noise. Because this isn't just about Trump or Clinton or Epstein. It's about a system that protects the powerful and silences the vulnerable. And until we demand better, not just from one party, but from all of them, this story will keep repeating itself. Different names, same playbook, and justice always just out of reach.